5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to Emerald Life. This is your host, Jay, and our co-host. And today we got Zaire up on the cast. Yo, say what up.
What's good? What's good?
Za and Isaac, we got you on the cast as well.
What's good, yeah?
So today we're going to be talking with our guests, and we're also going to be talking about Hold on. What's going on?
Whoa.
It's trippy.
What is going on?
What is going on? We got... We've been getting...
Whoa.
This is so trippy.
This has never happened before.
Yeah, this is so crazy.
Okay, so basically what's happening is we're getting audio of us saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is... There we go. You stopped it. It was just a repeat, a loop of
us
just talking in the music.
That's hilarious. And she had nothing.
She had no idea.
That's funny. What's
up, guys?
What's up, everybody on Instagram? What's up, everybody on wherever you're listening or watching us? Sorry for the immediate glitch. Always happens when you're going live stream. There's always little problems when you're live on.
Here we go again.
Oh, man. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna take off the headphones. It's time to take it off because something's going on. So to start us off, I want to start talking about this person, Billie Holiday, and we spoke a little bit about it before we got onto the cast. But I had this article here. I wanted to read it to you guys and to whoever was listening because I felt like Billie Holiday and her story really jives with our movement and the legalization movement. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny how her story really exemplifies and shows how crazy this war on drugs really is and what it's really about, and give people a little bit of insight on what's going on behind the scenes. So right here we have it up on the screen, and as our producer pulls it up, she's having a little difficulty. Hold on. There we go. So I just wanted to read this out loud to you and the listeners and to people watching, because this is a really dope article, and it's something that I really think that you guys should take a listen to. So it starts off, it says, from the first day in office in 1930, Harry Anslinger had a problem, and everyone knew it. He had just been appointed the head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, a tiny agency buried in gray bowels of the Treasury Department in Washington, D.C., and it seemed to be on the brink of being abolished. This was the old Department of Prohibition, but Prohibition had been abolished, and his men needed a new role, fast. As he looked over his new staff, just a few years before his pursuit on Billie Holiday began, he saw a sunken army who had spent 14 years waging war on alcohol only to see alcohol win, and win big. These men were notoriously corrupt and crooked, but now Harry was supposed to whip them into a force capable of wiping drugs from the United States forever. So, just to give you a little, that just gave you like a little taste of what really this guy, Harry Anslinger, was about. You know, he was trying to get funding for his department. Mm-hmm. You know, he just got this new role. He's trying to do the best that he can with what he got.
Right. So
they already set him up for failure. They put him in a corner. And if he's like a pit bull and you put a pit bull in a corner, you got no choice. He's going to bite. So this is how he comes back. So Harry believed he could. He believed he could, that the response being dealt a weak hand should always be, should always be dramatically rise to the stakes. He pledged to eradicate all drugs everywhere. And within 30 years, he succeeded in turning this crumbling department with disheartened men into a headquarters for global war that could continue for decades. He could do it because he was the bureaucratic genius, but even more crucially, because there was a deep strain in American culture that was waiting for a man like him, with a sure and certain answer to the questions about chemicals. All right, so just to give you like a little insight, like, okay, he was looking for like, okay, what can he do to give like his department some money? And he was gonna use his ties
And this is around what time? Like, what year is this?
This is it probably if you go back to the top there, it says 1930. So this is just after Prohibition. So alcohol is now legal again. People can drink again, and now they have a whole department.
Not to cut you off, but it just shows how important music is, even though we haven't gotten there yet. But just the fact that he's doing something as important as trying to eradicate drugs from, like, especially from the hood and minorities.
Right.
I could already see that he's using jazz and this singer to help his vision. So it really proves how influential music really is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it shows, like, the gift that you guys have to share. This is why I wanted to share it with you guys, because...
So, if the viewers don't know, we have you guys, and you guys are artists, correct?
I am.
He is.
He is? And what about you?
No, I'm
just here, yeah.
Alright.
He's just here to support.
Yeah.
That's
We
always
love
good.
support.
And we consider anybody that has any sort of passion to be an artist of some
Correct.
right.
Everybody's an artist in some way.
And if you're an artist, you're a rebel. So welcome
That's
to the
actually
rebellion.
a fact because he do draw.
Right? Everybody has some creativity and some outlet they want to, like, let out.
So our guests here, they're artists in different ways.
Right.
You rap, is that correct?
Yeah, I make music.
You make music.
Music
I'm
is
a
dope. Where
recorder
can they
artist.
find your music real quick?
You can find me on iTunes, Spotify,
All streaming
SoundCloud,
platforms.
all streaming platforms.
And I want to hear more about your story. I want to hear about like how you came up, and I want to talk about a little bit on your experience, because like other people that want to be an artist, or a rapper or a singer, or they don't know like how hard it is, or they don't know like the journey, because they just want to know how to start. And I think the best way to help people, to give people like a direction, is by hearing the story of others.
Right.
So like we'll get to that in a minute. So going forward with the story, just to like finish it off.
Right.
So Harry Anslinger, so he wanted to create this war on drugs. That's what his task was. So his first, what he did was, it says here, the article, jazz was the opposite of everything Harry Anslinger believed in. It improvised, relaxed, free form. It follows its own rhythm. Worst of all, it's a mongrel music made of European, Caribbean, and African echoes, all mating on American shores. So you can clearly see this guy was very like racist in his mindset. And to Anslinger, this musical anarchy was evidence and reoccurrence of the primitive impulses that lurk in black people waiting to emerge. It sounded, his internal memo said, like the jungles in the dead of night. So like the jungles in the dead of night. Another memo warned that unbelievably ancient incident rites of the East Indies are resurrected. And this black man's music lives on the jazzmen, he said, reek of filth. So give an idea, like this guy was just horrible, and he's creating this whole war, this whole campaign. A campaign, mind you, that we're still to this day are still fighting. And that this is the guy that started this movement, and to this day we're still fighting it. To give you a little insight on that. His agents reported back to him, many among the jazzmen think they're playing magnificently when under the influence of marijuana, but they are actually becoming hopelessly confused and playing horribly. That's what he considers jazz. The Bureau believed that marijuana slowed down your perception of time dramatically, and this is why jazz music and this is why jazz music sounded so freakish. The musicians were literally living at a different, inhuman rhythm. That's what he says. Music hath charms, their memos say, but not this music. So he says this music has charms, but not this music. Indeed, Anslinger took jazz as yet more proof that marijuana drives people insane. For example, the song The Funny Reefer Man contains a line, anytime he gets a notion, he can walk across the ocean. Anslinger's agents warned that that's exactly what drug users were like. He does think that like that. So like, you know, every time he smokes, he thinks he can walk across the ocean and finds out like he's gonna, you know, drown. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Anslinger looked over the scene filled with rebels like Charlie Parker, Louis Armstrong, and so on. The journalist Larry Sloman recorded, he longed to see them all behind bars. All the famous jazz musicians, he wanted them all behind bars.
I mean, I feel like that's still going on to this day. In
Yeah.
In a different sense. Like, even with that Meek Mill thing, like, they just want to see him behind bars. Like, they gave him so much time for such a stupid thing.
Yeah, and, you know, and then you have others that are forced in certain situations to be, like, you know, based on their crew members, based on who their posse is, and all of a sudden, because someone else did an action in rallying up against for you, you're all of a sudden the problem. And, you know, there's no looking further into that. You know, they're saying, you know, that's all
I
you...
know. I feel like it's more personal than that. I feel like people have such a hard time to see millennials get millions, you know. I feel like it bugs them to their soul that they couldn't make it happen. So they, like, choose anything to bring artists down, like Tekashi and all these different things, you know. I mean, not saying that he should have gotten away with it, but, like, I feel like they went harder because he's young and because he has millions and he's on the top and his like message and stuff like that. I feel like people take it more personal.
I feel like, you know,
makes sense. But I feel like they take it personal because it's like, you know how people would be like, money can't buy you happiness, money can't buy you out of any situation and stuff like that. So like if I'm a judge, like Meek Mill said, they paying you $44 an hour. You feel me? If I'm a judge, I'm getting paid $44 an hour, and I got your case, and you making what I'm making in like a day, a week, whatever. Right. You feel what I'm saying? I can't have you thinking because you make more than me, you about to walk away. Right. So that's what makes it personal, because I'm trying to set a principle like money can't buy you out the situation, but you feel me? The way it's just portrayed, it's just like it's harsh. So as media, as people, we take it as it's hate. You know what I mean? Or stuff like that. But I look at it as like it's just them trying to get the message across, but it's just blown up. It just get blown up.
I think you're onto something with that, definitely, for sure, because I feel like because artists and all these people are in the spotlight and they catch them doing something that they shouldn't be, or, you know, just a little something gives people like, it gives them a clear message to say, this is what you should not be doing. And all these people got eyes on it, so they're keeping us all oppressed because this is what we're seeing. We're seeing, oh, shit, you know, Tekashi just got locked up. Let me be careful, whatever. And
yeah, I think people forget how vulnerable artists are. Like, how real what they're talking about and how they've really experienced that. People just think they're just telling stories. Like, those stories are personal.
Yeah, and, you know, even if the story isn't theirs.
Yeah, most definitely. I was about to say that, too. Even if the story not theirs. Because I've done it before, too. I done wrote songs, like, it was a situation that, like, my boy was coming to me, like, yo, she doing this, that, and third. And then I hear B, and then what I visualize is what he was telling me. So then it's like, I did this for you. But I'm not going to tell you, because when you hear the song, you're going to fuck with it off the rip because it's relatable.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I tell you, it kind of throw that off because it's like, oh, it's about me.
Right.
You just going to like it.
Right. Exactly. That's very interesting perspective on all that. And that's why, you know, when you pursue to be an artist, this has got to be something full of passion. You got to want it from your heart and soul, because you got a whole army of people trying to take it away from you, and you gotta keep your mind sane through all that, and keep telling yourself, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what they were telling me, whatever that poison that they're feeding me. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know my message is good. I know what I'm doing. I know what my ability, and just keep focusing on that and making sure that always comes better and better.
I just feel like the industry is so saturated. It's hard to stick out. Like you need to.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
That too.
It's hard to be.
Too.
It's hard to be different.
It's not even hard to be different because we all different already.
Right.
It's hard to be yourself. Because you got so many people that make music. You got so many links, so many commercials, so many samples, so many this, so many that. It's hard to know your own sound. And that's what throw it off, because you think, oh yeah, I wrote this song, it's tough, but you sound like this person, you sound like that person. It might not even be an industrial artist. It could be somebody underground, it could be somebody local. Because we mimic, we hear it and we pick it up.
Right.
That's it's hard. That's it.
Yeah, and there's something that because I also learn how to do, like, I'm learning how to do like filmmaking and photography and all that stuff. And one of the things I've heard, and I think that's true in music, that everything is a remix. So when I hear that everything is a remix, I think that's very true with everything, because we're standing on the shoulders of giants of the people that done it before. Right. So even if you think you're on a new sound, somebody's been working on that before you, right, and you just finishing what they started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like this is why I think us here at the EMRLD Life Studios and Emerald J, that's what we try to bring to everybody, is that feeling that we should be a community, because we work best when we're working together and we're collaborating. Because your idea, you're different and I'm different, but together we make something even more different. And that web of your fans and then my fans, and then my fans see your shows and your fans see my shows, and going together, it makes everyone involved feel like they're part of something amazing. Yeah.
That's definitely true. So, what's it? Networking.
Yeah. So, continuing back to the story, it continues on saying, Anslinger looked over the scene of. Hold on, let me go down a little bit. So we will have a great national roundup arrest of all such persons on a single day. I'll let you know what day, he says. Advice on his drug raids to his men was always simple: shoot first. He reassured his congressmen that the crackdown would affect no good. Let me go back. He reassured congressmen that his crackdown would not affect the good musicians, but the jazz type. But when Harry came for them, the jazz world would have one weapon that saved them: its absolute solidarity. Anslinger's men could find almost no one among them who was willing to snitch, or whenever one of them was busted, they all chipped in to bail him out. So that community is what kept jazz alive. Like, how crazy is that? And it says, in the end, the Treasury Department told Anslinger that he was wasting his time taking on a community that couldn't be fractured. So he scaled down his focus until it settled on a laser, like a laser on a single target, perhaps the greatest female jazz vocalist there ever was. He wanted to bring the full thump of the federal government down upon the scorch of the modern society, his public enemy number one, Billie Holiday. On the night in 1939, Billie Holiday took up on stage in New York City and sang the song unlike anything anyone heard before. Strange Fruit was a musical lament against lynching. It imagined black bodies hanging from trees as dark fruit native to the South. Here, where black women, before mixed audience, grieving for the racist murders in the United States. Immediately after, Billie Holiday received her first threat from the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. So after she performed this, she got a letter right after saying, we're investigating you. Harry heard whispers that she was using heroin, and after she flatly refused to be silent about racism, he assigned an agent named Jimmy Fletcher to track her every move. Harry hated to hire black agents, but if he sent white guys to Harlem and Baltimore, they stood out right away. Jimmy Fletcher was the answer. His job was to bust his own people, but Anslinger was insistent that no black man in his bureau could ever become a white man's boss. Jimmy was allowed through the door at the bureau, but never upstairs. He would remain an archive man, a street agent whose job was to figure out who was selling, who was supplying, and who should be busted. He would carry large amounts of drugs with him, and it was always allowed to deal drugs himself so he can gain confidence of the people he was secretly plotting to arrest.
Isn't that, like, so twisted? Just think about it. Like, have this black guy not even allowed to come up to the office.
They made a movie like that before.
A movie?
They made a movie like that before.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I can't think about... I think I saw it on Bounce. You guys heard of Bounce?
Nah.
Yeah. You had cable your whole life. You've always had cable.
Mm-hmm. What's Bounce?
Bounce is like it's a low channel, like lower than 9. So like if you had cable, you probably wouldn't know about it. That's
okay.
For me, I ain't always had cable growing up. I had to watch Bounce. You know what I'm saying? Channel 5. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, no worries. I mean, we've cut cable to the point where it's just like Netflix and like we got all the other streaming services. We don't even know what the hell's on regular TV half the time.
Netflix is where I was watching Cubo.
Cubo, I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Nah, but yeah, they made a movie like that. It was about the same thing about a black cop, young cop, and he had to basically go undercover. He had to go undercover to like sell drugs and stuff, but he wound up getting too deep in it. You feel me? That's how that ended up.
Well, okay, so just to sum this all up, because I read fully through this, you know. So basically, he sent this guy Jimmy Fletcher to be with Billie Holiday. They got together, and he somehow won her affection, and they got into a relationship, and he fell dead in love with her. But you know, this assignment was always in the background. And what ended up happening was Harry went down full force on Billie Holiday to a point where he got her imprisoned. He made sure that shit was like gonna stick 100%, and it made it a huge example out of her. And from that point on, not only did marijuana become illegal, but all other drugs became illegal. And the rise of drug cartels in Mexico, the rise of the Colombian coke trade.
I've seen drug cartels from Mexico.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy. What kind of experience was that?
My fault. It's like, you know, everybody that's like southern of the border, they're just like, you know, fighting their way through the Mexican cartels, getting through America and deep Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like where police isn't like, you know, close.
Wow. Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, like I was listening to a podcast, and from what I'm hearing today, if you go down to Mexico and a drug cartel wanted somebody dead, they hire the cops. They dead ass call the cops and say, I want this guy dead. And they dispose of the body. And the cops do it because they're going to do it whether they want them to or not. So they just try to make it as, like, clean as possible. You know, they kill the person. And they.
You guys understand Spanish, right? You do?
What happened?
Because there's like a movie on, like, cartels and stuff. It's like Cartel Land.
Oh, I never heard of that. Yeah, definitely. Cartel Land. I'll check it out. Yeah, we're both Dominican. Shout out to DR. Although we're born and raised in New York, and that we don't really like go to Dominican Republic that often. So we're not like 100% with our fluent Spanish and all that. But we're straight up New Yorkers. We're that Dominican typical New Yorker. Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I just really wanted to bring that up to show you guys, like to show the people that are listening, and to show you guys, our guests, you know, the how the war on drugs got started by this man. This kind of man that just went after jazz because he thought people that smoke make this fucking crazy ass music and they deserve to be arrested.
Yeah,
That's
but it's such a biased thing. Like,
right.
I feel that your music is trash. Like, you deserve
exactly.
to be arrested.
And not only was that thought fucking fucked up, but he had the power to act on it and did. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that saved jazz was that the whole community was up for one another. Like everybody just had each other's back. No one snitched on nobody, and everyone was just, you know what? You make jazz, I make jazz. We make music. We're a community. If we don't stick together, they're gonna fuck us all up.
Exactly.
So, and then that's why I wanted to bring it up, because like I feel like that's something that has gotten lost somewhere along the line. That got lost, and now you see people like artists beefing. You see artists like, you know, trying to fight for attention, trying to fight for whatever. And I think we should come to the conclusion that we should all just jive together. You know, we're all a community. We're all facing it together. Mm-hmm. Some people make it all the way to the top, and some people don't. But the ones that don't doesn't mean that they're not as talented.
Or at least they
it just mean you just didn't get the right ear.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your music ain't hit the right 2 ears yet.
Exactly. And that's what I want to bring out for those of you listening. You know, if you know an artist, if you know somebody, you know, give them support, give them, you know, that recognition, because you don't know how important that might be, because that actually just saved a whole genre of music.
That's facts.
I mean, just touching on that support that we were bringing up earlier, how important it is just to give a like or a comment, just to be active to these artists or these, you know, your friends that you say that you support. You don't need to put money down most of the time to support somebody.
Facts.
Right.
You know, there's a difference between saying, oh, your shit is dope, but then you don't listen to not one song, not one picture you look at, not one comment. You know?
Right.
I feel like support goes a long way, because you never know who that person may bring you, that connection. It's all about networking. So it's important to always share, to always comment. That's what we tell everybody on the podcast, to always comment, leave a like, leave us something, so that we know what we're building here is a platform for people to all support each other. Mm-hmm. So if there's people that are into what you're into, they can go ahead and just write your name down real quick. Because we just want to build that support system, because artists don't have that right now.
Right.
Especially not in Jersey.
Right.
Exactly. You know what?
Not in Jersey.
But it's crazy because the greatest things come from Jersey.
Because, like,
that's true.
Yeah, if you look at Atlanta, like, that's it right there. Yeah. Look at what they pushing each other. That shit was just like, I'm here. Yo. Come on, yo, we here. You feel me? I open the door. We good. We in here. And then. But in Jersey, that shit like, oh, I'm in here, lock that shit, yo, fuck you doing?
yeah.
You got the free, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is in Jersey. Like,
that is not good now.
But that's how it is.
That's not good.
That's why it's hard to stand out, especially because of that.
What do you do to stand out?
I just be myself. I make my own music. You feel me? Like, I might make some songs where even myself, I listen to it a few times and I'll be like, yo, I could see how I sounded like Drake, or I could see how I sounded like, you know what I mean, Meek or Tilla or somebody, you know what I mean, Party.
Right.
Or, yeah, whatever. I could see, but then it's just like, but that's me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you be like, oh, I sounded like him, now you fighting yourself, because that might just be a sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay if you have a sound that's similar.
Right.
But it's all about your creation of music, how you make it. You feel me? Everybody write different. People like to sit in the studio and hear it over and over. People like to go do something to influence them. People, you know what I mean? People do it different. That's what makes the music.
And what's the way you like to make?
Shit, I like to make music fresh off. Like, as soon as I wake up, that's the best time for me to write music.
Really?
Yeah, because my head is still, like, I'm still processing things, you feel me? So I don't really know how it works, but I just feel like I'm getting the most out of my lyrics, like, the freshest ideas. Like, I'm not on Instagram yet. I'm not reading messages yet. I'm just on beats. You feel? Because I subscribe to a lot of people that make beats on YouTube. So when I wake up, it's like beat, new beat. So I'm just listening, picking what I like, picking what I don't like, and it just go like that.
Yeah, I actually like, just as a project, I'm not trying to look for anything like trying to pursue it or anything like that. But I do make like lyrics and rhymes. And I wake up and I check out the new beats that come up, and I'm just like, there's this one guy, I gotta shout him out because he got some dope ass beats. Tundra Beats, yo, this guy Tundra comes up with fresh beats, very like down tempo, very my mellow mood, and like I listen to some of his stuff in the morning too, and like my thing when I like to write the lyrics, it hits me when it hits me, it's just like. It can be no matter, like, it's not a particular time or place. It just hits me like a lightning strike, and I'm like, shit. Let me get my phone. Let me start writing it down. Let me write it down. Let me write it going, and then it could be anywhere. So I'm like listening to the beat, and I'm like, or there's times where I try to force it out, or there's times where I listen to a beat and the words just come out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh shit, let me write this down, like. But for me, I make beats as well, and for making beats, it's a different.
You make beats?
I make. I mean,
I
it's been a while since I made a beat. To be honest, just because I've been focusing more on the EMRLD platform.
Respectfully.
But yeah, so I've made beats, and when making beats, to me, I have to be on a different mindset. To make beats, I have to like. Get fucked up as hell. That's
You gotta hear it all.
I gotta hear it, and I when I'm really good, when I'm nice and stoned, and I'm starting to play the music, it feels as though that it's not me playing the music. I'm just the vessel from something else.
You're just going.
I'm just going. Right. It just feels like I turn my mind off. And now I make myself a controller to something else. Right, because you know what? It's a fucking strange feeling, because when I hear my music again, I can't tell you how I made it. I cannot tell you what notes they were to get there. It just perfectly put together in a state that I had to be there in order to get there. I mean, I could recreate it if I wanted to. But like to get that exact sound the way it was, to do it a different way, it won't be able to.
It's like when you writing a line. If you stop, you never gonna get that line straight.
Exactly.
Ever gonna get that line straight.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
But do you live on it though? Like when you create a beat, do you like come back the next day? Oh, take this out, put this in. Come back 2 days later, take this out, put this in. Like, do you live on the beat?
What I end up doing a lot of the times when that beat is within me and it hits me, I take down the hook. I just write the hook first, boom, and then I just save it. And I say I don't know, I'll hit it maybe one time. Then like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks later, I hit the hook. I pull it up. Oh shit, this shit is popping. Then I expand it. Go backwards. Okay, how does it get to the hook? Okay, let me get there. All right, and then I just go backwards from there. But like, so I would have like in my files, it just all my saved files is just hooks, just different hooks and melodies that I have in my head, and I put them down. And then when I click on one of them, I just listen to it. Oh shit, this is fucking fire, and then I just throw it back. Cause sometimes, you know, I write so many fucking beats that come out of my head. It stacks up in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's like 15, 20 beats. Yeah. So it's just like when I come back to it, like after 20 beats making different shit, you go back to one and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. This shit is popping. I made this shit.
Yeah, that's how I be with the music too.
Yeah, and then like that's another thing. People think that rappers or artists are kind of like lazy, and it's not that, because it's a lot of work to put. It's a lot of work.
A lot of mental frustration, like writer's block.
Like
and all
for
that
me,
stuff.
when I write, boom, I might get a hook, get a verse, then I don't get writer's block, but it gets to a point where it'd be like, all right, how can I change this song? Because to me, the second verse, and the second verse is the song. Like you know what the song gonna be about by the second verse. That is the song. You feel me? The first verse is the lead in. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at music. Unless you got a 3-verse song, then it's like, he might be talking throughout the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So I might get the hook, first verse, then it's like I need to change the song. I'm on the same beat, but I need to make the song different. You know what I mean? I need it to where when the second verse come on, it don't sound like the first one at all. It's completely different. So it'd be like, all right, I can't do that. I'll find another beat. Like I find myself writing like 5-6 songs in one morning. You feel me? And I'm doing this every day. Every day, 7 days out the week.
That's perfect.
I might not finish them all, but then I go back. Like you said, you go back, you be like, oh shit.
Yeah,
and
right.
It sounds fresh to you because you just went over all this other shit.
Exactly.
So you done forgot about it. So when you do it, you like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now you getting ideas because it's fresh again.
Exactly.
That's why I said, do you live on it? Because I love to live on it.
Yeah, I definitely do. I live on it. But then there's also times where I get a beat and I have to stay in that space because I know I won't get it out otherwise. Like it might be a melody that is not just in the hook. It starts in the beginning and flows all the way through. So what I'll do is like there's times where I hit a record button and I'm just playing my piano all the way through, like for the full 4 or 5 minutes. I'm just playing, letting no rehearsed note, nothing, just letting my mind create the song, and then I stop it, throw it back, and I know exactly at that moment, I know what I wanted, what I'm hearing, what I heard when I played it. And if I wait on that and I try to go back and recreate what I was thinking, it will never sound the same. Because I'll be like, I'll wait a little bit longer on a clap, on a snare, and I'll put something different because I'll listen to it again, and
you'll want to like dissect it basically.
Right. So
I got a question though. Out of all the songs that you created, like what are your favorites so that they can check it out?
Honestly, it would have to be. It's on my tape, Best Vibes Yet, also on all streaming platforms. It would have to be Making You Happy.
Making You Happy.
With Your Girlfriends. And then.
And With Your Girlfriends and Making You Happy.
Making You Happy, With Your Girlfriends. And then, like, if I had to choose a top 3, my third one would be You Lucky.
You Lucky.
You Lucky. You got any of the songs loaded up on your phone right now?
Yeah,
Can we get a sample?
Oh, yeah.
Meantime, while he's looking that up, it is time to pull up one of your bongs, choose a bong, and let's get lit.
Yes.
It is time.
Which one you have?
How many minutes have we been on the cast?
38. Wait,
About
to
38
everybody
minutes.
At the live, I see a lot of activity.
Yo, it's good.
Yo.
A lot of comments. Thank you.
Thank you for your support. Alright, let's see. Let me get. Oh, everyone chose. I'm the last one up.
He said I'm the last one up.
Alright. So, I got the bowl of lighters right there if you need one.
Kind of wish I had my torch.
And
I gotta take the dick, you know what I'm saying?
Always gotta have a big.
Oh, but I got the cherries on the hood. Cherries, you oh, alright. I got the cherries. Hold up.
alright. So feel free to smoke up whenever you want. I'm about to hit this right now.
We're about to smoke and jam.
Yes.
Get lit.
How you do this? I don't know how to do this. Which one y'all want here? With Your Girlfriends, the Make You Happy, or the You Lucky?
Make me happy.
You happy.
Make you happy.
Making You Happy? Alright, what I'm supposed to be doing here?
You ain't watch?
No. Alright.
Fill the bowl. You see a lot of smoke. Pull it up. first time he's ever smoking a bong. Or at least the first time in a while.
This is my first time.
Oh,
Yeah.
congrats on cracking your cherry. So what you do is you pull out the slider.
Yeah.
I like this beat so far.
Yeah, this is fresh.
Isn't bad.
It's smooth, right?
Can't be focused on making you happy. You done post me on the gram, I'm hoping you at me. Instead of talking out of problems, you quick to attack me. Those subliminals at me, I wonder what that mean. I wonder how you been doing without me, I need an answer. I've been hurt without you, been feeling like it was cancer. Hanging on to the past, she told me I put her last. I remember when I first met Shawty, she was a dancer. Stepping to the tempo, blocking out emotions, not today, bitch, I'm a Kimbo. Would I rate you a tenfold? You crazy. Shorty not Hispanic, she more than I. Singing like Plies, baby, sexy, can I hold on you close? I wanna hear you moan, it goes down in the crib while your hubby not home. Can I hold on you close? I wanna hear you moan, Mr. Car, now she checking on the phone, he left a voicemail like.
That's fresh. That's fresh. Make You Happy by Zabanger. Yo, that's a fresh ass beat. I love that.
That's such a Psych by yourself, like songs.
Yeah.
Like
That
that
is
kind of vibe. Like you in your room, you're by yourself.
But see,
smoking.
like I said, just for me, the second verses make the song.
Mm-hmm.
So in this song, it's like alright. So it's connected. You got the Make You Happy. You got the Porn Star, and then
I saw you posting that a lot. I heard that one.
And then I gotta see the name of it. You got the Wild Out Crew. You got the Making You Happy, and then it's the Porn Star. They're all connected.
So it's like a story, part
Yeah.
1, part 2, and part 3.
No, it's all connected because it's the same girl.
Oh, okay.
When I was writing those songs, it was in the format of the same girl. Like those videos are gonna be a 3-peat video because it's the same girl. She was just in different situations. The first one, she was got these friends. You feel me? They crazy. They got her involved into some stuff she not used to. She with the Wild Out Crew.
Okay.
Then you come into they make her wind up. She wound up meeting somebody. You feel me? While she got a man, that's when the porn star come in because she treat him like a porn star, but she got somebody. And then in the Making You Happy, her man find out. So in the first verse, he telling her, "You feel me? I'm doing all this for you. You're not even calling me or whatever." And then if you would have finished it, the second verse is like the side nigga, like, bro, I'm not condoning it. You feel me? But I'm not gonna stop her.
Right.
You feel me? And then that's the 3-peat.
That's
Alright, well, guys, check him out. His music is dope as fuck.
definitely. So I wanted to go into a little bit on how you got into it, how you got into music, a little bit about your story.
Well, first and foremost, my dad is a genius when it comes to music. He's been into contracts with Snoop Dogg. You ever heard of Big Bang Hank?
Which?
Big Bang Hank?
Big Bang Hank?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's my grandfather. He's I forgot what group he's in. He's basically like one of the pioneers for like music, hip hop.
Oh, okay. That's really dope.
So you have a strong influence with music.
Yeah, it's kind of in the bloodline. You feel me? Like he wasn't really involved with us like that. You feel me? But just knowing him and just knowing that, and just bless you. And then my dad just like he makes beats as well. He DJs, he draws, he does tattoos. Like he's just so artistic himself. So it's like it's big on that. And I can't really draw, you feel me? But I used to sing growing up.
Okay.
I try to draw in my spare time. I just love lines. I just put lines together, whatever the fuck I make.
That's fresh.
You feel me? So
yeah, I'm the same way, as you can tell. Like this is my original art. That's
All
my father's.
Oh, that's tough.
So it's
I
like
was
the
looking at that one.
competition.
I like the Muhammad Ali one.
Yeah, that's
thank
how
you.
it is with my dad. Like when I make music, because he's always the type like, even him and my dad, like they always make sure like I don't sound like nobody. Like they're my biggest critics, because they'll be like, my dad, if I let him hear some shit, he'll be like, nah, you sound like, you feel me? That's like, you sound like. And
that's the producer for me.
Even with him, like I'll be like, yeah, he'll be like, yeah, I fuck with it, but it's alright. Like when I get the it's alright, I know like nah, I could go harder than that.
Okay.
You feel me? So.
Yeah, I feel like it's important not to have yes men around you, especially
Right.
as an artist, because if you have yes men, you're gonna.
Oh,
sound
look
like
at him!
everybody
Look at
else.
him right there, Big Bank Hank.
Nah.
No, that's not him. That's not him.
That's not him.
Is that how you spell his name? Oh, keyboard's being passed.
First and foremost. Wait, go back to the search bar.
Yo, I'm getting super litty.
You go to the first one. This is my dad, internet radio station.
Oh, word. That's fresh. Squad Rebel Radio.
Yeah.
So basically, you kind of grew up surrounded by the music industry. That's funny. That's funny how that works out.
My dad's been in contracts with Snoop Dogg, all types of shit.
That's
I
fresh.
done met a lot of amazing people because of my dad.
That's
I
really
done been
cool.
on the phone calls with a lot of amazing people because of my dad.
That's
so
really cool. That's really cool.
that's the inspiration.
That's awesome. That's
that's
awesome.
my dad right there.
Oh, that's really cool.
Light skin one.
That's really cool. The guy, the guy on the left,
On
The right.
on the right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's cool. Yeah, and my dad's also an artist, and it's funny how that works out because you're the way you brought up into music, kind of the same thing how I got brought up into art. You know, my father, he was never an artist himself, although I heard he did try and he sucked terribly at it. But he was really into music, all kinds of music, all different genres, and we never really heard what was on the radio at the time because we were so surrounded by things of different countries and different places of different sounds just all meshed into one. You got like the 80s mixed with like old school hip hop, and you got some EDM dance music and some weird chill shit, and that my father was into everything. And on top of that, you know, he was also a big artist at you know, working on it, his art all the time. So when he was working into the art world, you know, obviously we were always around it. So later on in life, we noticed that we all had like this passion for art, and this is why we kind of started this business, you know, to get, you know, a business in where other artists can grow with one another. And going back to what I was saying with the jazz community, you know, we kind of want to build that community because like the ones that are like us, it is now for me, I don't know how it is for you guys, but it's now a pleasure to have known you and to have this moment because we share the same community. And it's like to hear your experiences, it's like, oh shit, like we were separate worlds, separate rooms till now, and we had similar experiences. Like how fucking crazy is that? It's like to show you, like, when you're thinking you're all alone in something, you know, there's probably somebody in a different room in a different place going through it too.
Same shit.
Same shit. So now, when did you start noticing that you were good with music? Like, when did you start realizing, like, this is what I wanted to start doing?
When I was young at McKinley Elementary School, I used to rap battle at my lunch periods or whatever. You feel me? So that was just something to play with. Like I just knew I could just rap. I could make words rhyme. And I used to write poetry.
I was never that cool.
No, it wasn't even cool. I didn't hang with the cool kids like that. But it was just I just was able to rhyme. I could rhyme words because of poetry. I love words, and one of my punishments was my mom used to make me read the dictionary and write it. So I'm basically like rewriting the dictionary as I'm reading it. You feel me?
Oh, that's really cool.
And she used to test me on the words. That's punishment. You think
that's
cool?
That's cool.
That's
no,
punishment.
I know.
Because if I get it wrong, you know what comes after, right?
Word, but you know what? Like as a punishment, I never got that. I never had an option to do something like that. It was just a belt. That was it. It was it. Like there was no option. Like that's to me. That's like yo. At least I would have learned something.
That's how it is now. Like I be like, damn, that's good, because like I love words. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like I'll just do poetry. Then
especially wordplay.
My 10th grade teacher, Miss Union, she gave me a thesaurus.
Okay.
And that's what really set it off, because now I was learning words that got the same definition, but just different words. You feel me? And different ways I could use them. And then after that, it was ball games.
Oh, that's awesome.
Antonyms, synonyms, all that shit. I started learning, picking up. Then I started picking up syllables, and then it was just like poetry slams. Now I'm performing. This serious.
That's cool.
So how often do you perform?
Well, I haven't performed since last year. It's been a minute since I performed, only because I was trying to find a studio, but now I got an in-home studio. So I'm just trying to just flood myself with more music.
You're right.
So now I could get back on track.
Okay.
So
that's pretty dope. Hopefully we get to see you soon. See you live.
See you real soon.
So are you working on anything new?
Oh yeah, I got two new tapes coming. I got More Than a Hobby. That's what I'm pushing soon. Okay. Like real soon. But on top of that, I got Tales of Dexter.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah. It sounds like you got some stories to tell.
Yeah. The More Than a Hobby is just influenced by like, this is serious. This is not just music. Like remember I was telling you I'm living it. Like you gotta live the music. Like this is one of those tapes where every song is gonna take 2 months to do. Because I'm finding my beats on YouTube right now and I'm buying them. So you feel me? I want to buy it. Like I said, my dad made beats. I know a lot of other people that make beats. Now I'm gonna recreate the beat and just make it like every song is a project on this project.
Yeah, right. That's really cool. Yeah, and that makes the album more like to the user, I think, more appreciated, because like there's a story behind this album. Like you're putting this project together. You got everything going together, so everything's like, when you listen to it and you hear the story, you're like, ooh. Then you hear it again. Now you want to hear it again because it's like,
because it's more real.
Right, now you know the story behind it, and then you're like, ooh, that's what he's talking. Then you hear the song again, and it's like, oh, that's what he's talking about. That's crazy. Yeah. Do you start off the whole album trying to tell a specific story, or each individual song has its own story?
Majority of the time, each individual song has its own story. Because the way I do it, like if I hear a beat, if I like the kick, I close my eyes and see what I see. Like I said, somebody tell me a situation, I hear a beat, I see what he just described to me out of his situation in it. You feel me? So I visualize what the beat want me to see, whatever I feel from it. You feel me? Because that's what music is. It's a feeling. Okay. It's like poetry. It's how you describe yourself. It's a feeling what you can't say. You know what I mean? So that's how every song get created. Whatever I see from it.
That's fresh.
What would you consider your genre would be?
Shit.
Like for the most part.
For the most part, I would say hip hop.
Hip hop.
Or R&B. And R&B. Yeah.
Hip hop and R&B. That's fresh. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to like write rap lyrics just because I like the flow of like the way it's like said, the way the story is said, and like something similar to like Drake and stuff, like how he like you can really hear the story as opposed to like a mumble rap, or not to say I don't like them, but to say that it's like you hear the story more clear when you hear it like in the form that Drake does it, or you hear it in Logic's kind of tone as well.
Right.
You can kind of Right.
Big
So
Sean, who did the list continues.
yeah. So like when I think of a song, like I think of like the influence that this song might have, because like I feel like every song I yield a weapon, and how I point this the weapon, like how I direct this weapon, is like what I think about the most. So like I think about, what do I want these people to think? Like, what do I want them to hear? Like, when they hear this music, what kind of mindset do I want them to be in? And 9 times out of 10, I'm always thinking about, like, self-improvement. Because that's what I'm always thinking about. I'm always thinking about how I can improve myself. So it's always like I'm trying to talk to myself on, like, all my lyrics is just me trying to tell myself what I should already know, because I do the research, but I never do it. So it's just like a reminder to myself, like, dude, step up. What are you doing? You're slacking, kind of a thing. And it's like self-reflection.
That's just the kind of artist you are. There's artists that just like the hype, like they just create hype music. There's people that just want to create that deep music, you know?
Yeah.
It depends on your perspective and what kind of artist you are.
Exactly. No. I everything like, it's all love. I love every kind of.
It's about what we mimic. Like she said, it's about the type of music you like. You're gonna mimic that type of music. If you like R&B, you're not gonna try to make rock music.
That's true. Exactly.
If you like rock music, you're not gonna try to do jazz.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna do what you like.
Exactly.
I feel like right now, underground artists are kind of more praised than like already well known. I feel like everybody's on the search for the next like underground artist. Like at first for me it was Lil Baby. I loved Lil Baby, and then all of a sudden he came out with the hit Close Friends, and everybody started listening to him. But like I feel like I'm always on the next, like who's next, what music is coming out. I feel like you guys have that platform now that back then people didn't really have.
That's true, and now everyone can communicate, and we can definitely get together in ways that we would never able to get. We got this whole interview set up just because of Instagram, something that didn't happen. Not even like 5 years ago. We couldn't have done this 5 years ago.
Facts.
Right.
So it's just.
You guys have that platform. Use that shit.
Yeah. And
back then you needed labels, like to fight on, getting
Facts.
a label and dealing with the bullshit they wanted to put you through just to
Facts.
get you there. Now you can completely override that.
Yeah,
and
you
use the internet.
can really,
and be who you are.
Or you needed to know somebody to actually go somewhere.
Yeah. Or now, like, you got people like Russ coming up that just, all it was just will and motivation and just nonstop. Because if you heard his first ever songs, they weren't like the best. But like towards the end, like you start hearing like, damn, like he cleaned that up.
A long way.
Yeah, he cleaned it up. You can even hear like you switch from one DAW to another DAW. Like you can tell like his program got better, things got better.
But I like that. Like when I hear that in artists, I really like that about that person. That you can hear their growth. Like you can hear that they're constantly doing things to make themselves better. They're changing their sound just a little bit to become a little bit more true to who they are. I like that process.
Yeah.
That's what make it more than a hobby.
Right.
Right.
I like that. That's what makes it more than a hobby.
That's
exactly
what makes it more than a hobby. Because I know a lot of people that listen to a beat, they'll be in the studio, find a beat, write to it, lay it down, mix it right there, and then drop it.
There's no thought, no detail.
It's
no
no
artist.
Like, you feel me? Like, yeah, they probably might take an hour, 2-3 hours to record it or whatever.
Right.
But that's damn near regular.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And then it's just like, yeah, they drop it off the first mix, no master. Just the first mix.
I see. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own way, but I definitely enjoy a little bit more when there's like a thought process behind it. Because like as a listener, to me, I feel like the story hits home a little bit more. Like I can hear I hear your words, and sometimes like, especially if it's like R&B or rap or whatever, sometimes you don't catch every word. But when you hear the story and then you hear like, oh, there's a background to everything. Now you're listening to it, and now like the words sound clear. Like before, you may not heard every word that you were saying, but now that you know the story, oh shit, every word pops up. You understand everything.
More than words too. It's like just the different sounds and the different layers that is put together just to put the beat together itself. Like that's why I love The Weeknd, and I like his old stuff, and I like Fabulous, because you can listen to that shit a billion times and you'll always find something new about that song. Like it's that attention to detail for me is what makes me like an artist like a lot.
Party Next Door, one of those people
Party
too.
Next Door, I was just listening
Party
to
Next Door, that nigga, yeah, he be touching my soul, no cap.
Yeah,
his shit tough.
And I'm like, you were singing that song Sunflower. That shit hit my soul too.
Yeah,
that shit,
love that song.
Yo, man, that shit crazy.
yeah,
And I do something to you because that.
Yeah.
That shit hit you like, oh, hold up.
And then like I heard the lyrics and I was like, all right, it's about a sunflower. Like, okay, like you're a sunflower. Like how does that really, like, to me I was like, okay, what is the purpose of that? Well, why sunflower? Like of all the things you could have said, why use that one? And then I found out like, you know, sunflowers have a hard time growing because they all grow up on top of each other. And then like they all have to fight for the same amount of resources, and they kind of like suck up the nutrients from the surrounding sunflowers. So it's like there's like a in depth. There's depth to this shit. It's just not like he chose sunflower just to pull it out of his ass. And then to find out that, because I never saw the Spider-Man movie, you know,
I saw
but
it like 8 times.
Well, which one?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I really want to see that.
It was the beginning scene.
I know. I watched it like 3 times, 4 times.
I watched this shit like
probably like 2 days. I think I watched like 8 times. Like
that's
2
my
days.
favorite superhero. I'd be maxing out for that.
You got the whole sweater.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that so bad. I want to catch that movie because, like, from what I heard, that song jives really well with the movie as well, and it's very important.
Yeah, it was his favorite song. So it was like it relaxed him.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
But nah, if you got I'm sorry.
No worries.
If you got F movies, well, if you go on the internet, you go to fmovies. .co. You can Google it. You can Google it. It's in HD. You can watch it for free right now.
Word.
Yeah.
fmovies.co.
Not just that, just Google it.
Yeah, you just Google that shit.
Just put in F movies.
So you can just type in hints and you'll find it.
Exactly. Just Google that shit and you'll find it.
Yeah, it'll pop up.
Yeah, I definitely want to catch that movie. And I heard like the visuals on that is really trippy, and it's like good to watch when you're really stoned. Oh man, I want to see it now.
Yeah, it's free. And it's other movies on that shit as well.
Oh, okay.
It's a movie site. It's a show site too. So
okay,
they be having their stuff on there.
I'll definitely check that out. So for those that are listening, how can they reach you, Za?
They can reach me on Instagram at Za for President. The 4 is the number 4.
Okay.
So ZAH number 4 President and then _. That's the Instagram.
Okay. Za for President.
You can reach me at Twitter. You can reach me on Twitter at Za MTL250 ZAH MTL 250 250. Okay. That's really all I be on.
iTunes, Spotify. How do they find you there?
Zabanger. So ZAHBANGER.
ZAHBANGER.
Remember, you guys, listen to those 3 songs that you stated earlier.
Yo, if you heard that little snippet, I gave you just a tease because the second verse, he says, is where it gets. The second verse is where it gets popping. That's where it gets juicy. So you gotta check out that second verse. So go up on Spotify, check that shit out. Give him some love.
I'm the only Zabang on all streaming sites, so there's no way you can't find me.
Okay, dope.
Where can they find you, Isaac?
You can find me on Instagram, Rabbit2VO 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got that, guys?
You got that? Can you say that one more time for the mic?
Rabbit2VO with 0.
With a 0. Got it.
Fresh. All right.
Thank you guys for listening. It was a pleasure having you guys on the cast.
So it was a pleasure being
And we got
here.
some dope ass food waiting for you, so you're not
all
done.
waiting for.
Much love, much love, much love.
Hurry up.
Thank you for joining us in the Emerald Life. We out.
Appreciate
Peace.
it. Ooh.
We did it.
Well, I'm ready to eat.